Alright, I made my first pop can stove, and wow, I was really blown away with how well it throws heat. It burns alcohol. So I'm going to show you how to make one. You got two pop cans to make one stove, a Sharpie marker, a pair of scissors, a drill, or you can use a thumbtack actually. You need a tape measure and a straight edge, and we'll get moving on this. So I'll show you how it goes together. So take your first pop can and you want to mark where you're going to drill your holes for the vents, and most people can do this by eye. You go two across like this, and then you go two across the other way. And even if you don't have a really awesome eye, it's not a big deal. And then you go in between. And you can go nuts and go in between again. That's going to be all your holes. And the size you make the holes really matters. So I did a fairly big drill bit the first time, 5/64 with this guy, and holy crow does it throw the heat. So I've got a smaller bit this time. You can get a thumbtack and just push the thumbtack through there too, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to just thumbtack might even be simpler than the drill, because it's kind of hard to get the drill to stay in one spot when you're starting. You can see I'm kind of using my thumb to hold it there. Alright, so I'll go through that. You don't need to see me drill all the holes. Alright, once you get the holes cut, the challenging part is cutting this out here. And that's where the serrated knife really comes in handy. You want to cut it right at the base of that, whoops, I'm not showing you very well there. You want to cut it at the base of that rim. Alright, so you find with the knife, you just kind of, you don't really got to push very hard. You just got to kind of work it around. It's hard to do this while I'm filming it, of course. There, so, and then you can see I'm just kind of, and again, you got to be careful. The can is fragile, and you'll bend it very easily if you're gripping it with your other hand really hard. So basically, you just kind of work your way around it like this. You see what I'm doing there? It's going well. You just kind of there, put it in, and oops, there you go. As you're pulling it out, you do your cut. See that? I push it in, not cutting as I'm pushing in, and then cut as you're pulling it out. And just go around, is that in your field of view? Insert the knife, get over to where you're going, and then the cutting stroke comes on the way out. Nice and gentle, you don't have to force it or anything. Don't cut on the way in. Cut on the way out. If you're nervous, wear a leather glove on this hand. Alright, it's cut out. It's jagged. If you wanted to, you could file it down or sand it down. I'm not too worried about it. Next thing you do is get your tape measure and measure 20 millimeters right from the bottom. Whoops. 20 millimeters right from the bottom. Draw a line around. The easiest way to draw that line is just hold it like that, hold my left hand steady. As long as I've got a good steady left hand. There, the lines match up. Now I'm going to use a regular pair of scissors. Whoops, careful again because it's aluminum. So now I've got to cut off. I just trim it up properly. That's going to be the top of the stove. That's all set. Now we're going to cut out, basically cut down here. There's like a middle insert for the stove. And this kind of makes it look like it's a really elaborate project, but it's not. So, and we're going to cut a piece out of this. So I'm going to roll it backwards just to kind of straighten it out some. Watch, there's jagged edges. Alright, so that should be good enough. We're going to dry that off. It was wet. And then we're going to cut a strip right down the middle. Alright, so I got my straight edge. I just want to draw a line like that, and then get my trusty tape measure, and I measure 35 millimeters. 35 millimeters. Mark it at each end, and then oops, draw another line. Oops. Yeah, the thing is still a little bit wet. It's not drying properly here. Alright. Now I just use my scissors and cut that strip out. So, alright, so that's cut out. Did I do it even? I did not do it even. Look, the two ends don't match up, so that's going to be an issue. I will have to even that up. I somehow made one of those lines crooked. So let's assume we're going to make, that's the top and the middle. We got to measure 25 millimeters, 25 this time, right? 20, 25, and 35. So 25 millimeters, and the bottom is 25 millimeters. So 25 is there. And draw my line around. Nice steady hand. Whoops, I got some water on that tip. That's okay. Okay, so and we're gonna cut that off now. Just with our, we will start with the knife and finish it nicely with the scissors. This guy, remember that middle strip? We make a loop and we fit it down right into the bottom of that ridge. So down in there, there's this like bottom circle here, and you want to size this so it fits perfectly in there. And this is going to be tough to show you with, so there. So now I've got it perfectly sized, and I need to mark it on both sides. I'm going to cut a little notch. So mark it there. Where's my other side marking? Mark it there. And take my scissors, cut through at least halfway on that notch. Just a little more than halfway. It's on the one side there, and it's got to, whoops, I kind of screwed that up, but it's got to be on the other side down here. And then we'll trim off a little extra because we don't need that big long piece on there. And this guy should go together nicely like this. And then you've got your middle ring. And if you did it right, it fits down in there perfectly like that. Now the only thing you need is, you need a couple of notches to let the fuel through. And they don't have to be evenly spaced out. You do 3 of them and just kind of go by your eye. 3 little notches. And my third one. Okay. And that lets the fuel go between the inside and the outside here. This is mainly for stability. You'll see in a moment here. So now I got the top part. I have my 16 holes around there. Every second hole I want to cut. There's one, every second one. Cut it right up to the edge of the paint there. Every second one. Just like that. Bam. Bam. So, perfect. Push all those tabs in a little wee bit. It works better if you push one edge and then you see it kind of makes a fan pattern, and it takes a little bit of encouragement to get this fitted together, but you will be able to fit it together. Oops. Alright, when you're fitting it together, make sure that inner piece is on the on the proper side of this. Make sure this inner piece is inside this ridge here. Sometimes you'll get a piece of it that sticks out, and then you just kind of push it all together, and there you go. There's your stove all done. And then that the inner piece there keeps you from pushing this too much and collapsing the stove. I tried it without the inner piece, and there's actually a risk of pushing it right down and collapsing the stove. So now, set that up. We got methyl hydrate, which is denatured alcohol. Well, it's methyl alcohol. It's not the stuff you drink. And I was just blown away by how much heat this guy throws. Yeah, it's going. So it takes, is it going? It is going, yeah. It takes a minute for the, it's basically got to vaporize the alcohol in here. Oh, now it's coming out. You can't see because it's light out. I should have this in my shed, but it's roaring pretty good. And what you can do is, actually this makes it a third can. So you don't want the flame coming out of the top, especially if you have a stand that holds the pot up here a little bit more. So you put that over the middle part. It's basically the bottom out of another can. And then this sucker just throws the heat. It's really impressive how much heat you can get off of this. Now I'm going to do some comparisons with this guy with the smaller holes, and then this guy that I have with the bigger holes. This one really was crazy throwing the heat. And that's it. There's your alcohol stove.